It's 7 o'clock with Annie Nightingale.
Thank you, Richard. I wondered what you were going to say about Gary Davis, isn't it?
It's true as well, you know.
Well, getting naughtier and naughtier. This is for Maggie from South East London, who spends Sundays in bed with a good friend and a huge cream cake. That's what she has to say. Also for Sarah Madsen, because this record reminds her of the fabbest, brillest holiday she ever had in Greece. Alphaville, big in Japan. Jason Stevens from Ashburton in South Devon says, what is black and gushes out of the ground shouting, knickers? Answer, crude oil.
Freeze! I'm Ma Baker. Put your hands in the air. Give me all your money.
Phony Ma Baker. I have not heard that in years. So, worried of Southampton is worried about his friend Sarah Moore, his girlfriend, having developed a passion for hurting him. Don't really know about this. Concerned friends are beginning to ask me embarrassing questions regarding the suspicious marks visible about my muscly torso. Apparently propaganda might help. Propaganda, P machinery, I love her voice. Mrs. Paul Morley, by the way. Matthew Watton has written on the back of a paper bag which says Alton Towers Leisure Park on it, informing me that it's his birthday next Tuesday and he's expecting 4 presents, one from his brother, one from his sister, one from his mum and dad, and one from me. Well, that's nice, Matthew. As you hadn't given me your address, and I'll get things in the post, you know, could be I'd miss it, so this is for you. Penny Ford, dangerous. Now, Samantha Brockhurst from Lewis in Sussex went to Spain for her holiday and had her 80th birthday party over there and met Ricky, Duncan, Ian and Dave. Wants to say hello and thank you for a great night out with them. The place she went to was actually, I went there last October. It's a place called Benalmadena. I went there for 5 days and I spent the first 3 days trying to pronounce it. Paul Young, every time you go... I think this... Excuse me, what's going on here? There seems to be a Mad Morris dance I got in the studio. Do you mind? Please, I am busy. Now, go. Let's put paid to that. Now, Lois Barnes from Hyde in Southampton says, I have tried and tried to no avail to get onto your show. What must I do so as not to fail? Please help, I just don't know. On Apple Peel I did write and still was ignored. Just mention me, my name will do, because I'm getting bored of writing all these silly notes to you. On August the 12th, we take our leave and head for the Costa Dorada. Lois, you're quite right, it doesn't rhyme. She also says, if Gary Newman is listening, as all the stars do to this show, tell him, you better be good in September in Southampton, because I'm going to be there. This is your fascination. Your fascination, Gary Newman. A terrific claim to fame here, this, from Cathy from Gadebridge and Hemel Hempstead. She said, at a school's parade, the Queen, yes, Her Majesty, stopped only 18 inches from the end of my nose, gave me a hard stare, walked away. Oh dear. Dave McClarty from Burlington Roadshow with Nottingham. For you, rock and roll children from Dio and rock and roll children. 7:30. Here's Jane Halroyd.
There's been a leak of poisonous gas from a Union Carbide plant in the American state of West Virginia. At least 50 people have been injured, some of them seriously. The fumes contain methyl isocyanate, which killed more than 2,500 people at both...
Training for this round-the-world race, and... Well, I'm glad he's here. He's all right. I really am. It's a great bit of relief all round. Police on compact disc, Every Breath You Take, from Ian Ellis in Bedford, for Gavin and Yvonne in Leeds. Now, Jenny in Liverpool has this problem with Steve. You see, she says he's one of these hip-type dudes who just won't and can't grow out of all this heaviness, man. I mean, if he was any more hip, she says, he wouldn't get his pants on. Oh, yeah. That's a great track. State of Independence, John Vangelis, also on compact disc. Now, Clive Willis has written from Hillingdon in Uxbridge to say this. After hearing your story about a name for your tortoise, now this is because my tortoise is called Tony, turned out to be a girl because it laid eggs, awfully complicated. I thought I'd tell you about mine. I had not given a thought to giving my tortoise a name other than perhaps a Tortie, but then I got caught out when I had to take it to the vet. The vet asked for the name of the tortoise, so I said, nothing. It's called Nothing. When I got home and looked at the labels on the various things I'd been dispensed with, there on the top was the name, Nothing Willis. I'm sure you'll be inundated with names now, Clive. Girly, Sophia George. Sophia George, girly. For more of that, check out Reggae Miss P at 11 o'clock tonight. Paul from Coventry. Oh, listen, you're driving me crazy. What's big and red and eats rocks? A big red rock eater. What's big, red and eats stones? A big red rock eater on a diet. What's big, red and eats bran? A big red rock eater on an F-plan diet. What's white, black and red all over? A Russian penguin. What's white, black and red all over? A Russian zebra. What's white, black and red all over? A Russian Dalmatian. What's white, black and red all over? A sunburned penguin. I can't go on with this, Paul. And that was the Buzzcocks, who I miss desperately, and 16, especially requested by Dave Musket for all the lads in Aylsham near Norwich in Norfolk. He says, I'm here with the Royal Engineers in the Falkland Islands till September, and I'm missing home and the sunshine. He doesn't know what's been happening here. You're better off, Dave, in the Falklands, I'm quite sure. Which I'm sure you can pick me up too. There, here's this programme right round the world. You don't believe me. I know you don't. Now, something very interesting has come to light regarding Robbie Vincent, and I am grateful to John Gay from Cambourne in Cornwall, and also to Andrew Dunstan, I think it is, from Kennington in Oxford. For they both sent me cuttings from newspapers, which says this. Somewhere in the camp, 1942, Channel 4, 2 p.m, knockabout comedy in an army setting featuring music hall celebrities Harry Corris, Frank Randall, and Robbie Vincent. So, John Gay says, like a recent correspondence to your programme, I too have noticed how Robbie Vincent has ditched you for the Ranking Miss P, so I thought you might find this enclosed film review very interesting reading. If Robbie is that old, then if you ask me, you're better off without him. I think you're absolutely right. Penetration, life's a gamble. And as part of the public service, which I do try to bring you, that was for Johnny Lapworth from Leicester, who says it was one of 10 records that he rediscovered at the back of a cupboard, thinking he'd probably lost it at a party. I know the feeling. See, you take records to parties and you know what happens. Dangerous. I think it's better to put them on tape, actually. But he says, having rediscovered these records, their condition was such that he wasn't going to risk them on his expensive hi-fi. So, hope you enjoyed hearing it in wonderful clarity. Now, I've had some extremely smelly requests over the last week or two. I'll come to the kipper later. But from the makers of the Devon Holiday, the disaster letter, which is written on a large piece of paper. I'm so glad you can't smell this. It is revolting. It obviously had food wrapped up, and it's all stained, and it's marked. You see, chip grease, cheese from Cheese and Chips, salt and vinegar, bread from Chip Butty. And this comes from Liam, Lucy, Sarah and Ian. Famous 4. You can't, it's your 4, not 5. Oh, Daisy's the 5th one. And it's quite revolting. Please don't do that to me again. Anyway, I can calm down now. Used to play a beautiful track by OMD. It's actually the title track from their album. It's called Crush. Can't Heat Going Up the Country before that Crush from OMD, which I think is a brilliant track. Well, how can I put this? You know that you get really sort of exclusive gossip on this programme, but I don't quite know how to tell you this. There's an unconfirmed rumour and report that Jonathan King is breaking up due to musical differences and a personal ego clash with himself. Tom Petty, American Girl, and that's for Karen Fawkes of Oakland's Crescent, Dukinfield in Cheshire. Well, you may have heard on the news at 7:30, Simon Le Bon was among many yachtsmen who apparently capsized today off the Cornish coast and got rescued, which is very good news. Now, if, Simon, you're drying out and you're listening, I've been pointing out or asking people if they would perhaps write in and suggest names for the spin-off group from Duran Duran, which is Simon, Roger, Taylor and Nick Rhodes, because they're looking for a name for their album that they've made. And Richard Lyle's got a really good idea, I think, amongst all of them, which I shall pass on, and thanks for all of them. But how about this one? He says, what about they should call themselves Sogo? Or haven't they got over their Barbarella phase? Sogo was the planet where Barbarella had her cinematic adventures and where Duran Duran himself lived. Very good idea, Richard Lyle. He also says, I'd like to take this opportunity of expressing the opinion that you are probably the best disc jockey on Radio 1 on Sunday nights between 7 and 9. Thank you. B-52's Whammy Kiss continuing stories. And we have played a lot of B-52 tracks lately, but they keep coming up and they're really good. Emma Jobson from York says this. I thought I had to write and sort out this pop star loaning business out. No one, I state, no one can have Adamant as he's promised to me. As this enclosed photograph shows, we are madly in love with each other. Phew, I should say so. A very passionate kiss. You're going to make a lot of people very unhappy, Emma. So he's got eyes for no one else, says Emma. He is mine. Sorry, everybody. Oh, Well, that's it then. We'll have to find somebody else to rent out for the rest of the summer.